and this is the Coins Cashflow Conversation Podcast. I am your host, Dakota Grady, sponsored by Upstate Essential Solutions. If you need help with accounting and taxes for your business, contact me today at dakotagrady.com. If you're struggling financially, whether you're in business or personally, I can help you with your personal finances and your business finances. Again, the website is dakotagrady.com. And also, if you want a resource that can help you with tax strategies for your business, go to dakotagrady.com. Go to the accounting, tax, and advisory page. The drop down says tax solutions. There's a little page beside that. It says strategies to save money in your business. Get the free resource today to get some tax strategies for your business at dakotagrady.com. Hey y'all, welcome to the podcast. So today talking about headline: the Biden administration is going to forgive $7.7 billion in student loans for more than 160 borrowers, according to CNBC. Basically, it's like a company that is a company up under CNBC. So let's break this down. All right. So the Biden administration has been forgiving debt for millions of Americans who are burdened by student loan debt. And total amount that has been forgiven so far is, according to this article, totaling $167 billion of aid has been given so far. And says the Biden administration has so far excused the debt of 4.75 million borrowers, totaling $167 billion in debt or in aid. So basically, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to give 160,000 people. We're going to reduce their or basically forgive their debt. So it's a lot of money. It's a total of $7.7 billion. Woo. So basically, let's unpack that. According to the Department of Education, they're going to basically implement this on July 1st of 2024 of this year. So it says there that the U.S. Department of Education released final regulations on its new income-driven repayment plan, or IDR, which will provide student loan borrowers with the most effective or most affordable repayment plan ever. The SAVE plan, SAVE plan, will cut payments on undergraduate loans in half compared to other IDR plans to ensure that borrowers never see the balance grow as long as they keep up on their required payments, and protect more borrowers' income for basic needs such as food, clothing, and shelter, I'm assuming. It says under the Saving on a Valuable Education, SAVE plan, SAVE plan, a single borrower who makes less than $15 an hour will not have to make any payments. Zero, y'all. That's what it says. No payments, any payments. Borrowers earning above that amount would save more than $1,000 a year on their payments compared to other IDR plans. So basically, if you were getting a student loan, you have one, and you are paying it back based on the income-driven repayment plan. Apparently, it wasn't doing a good job. It was trash, apparently, because the Biden administration had been revamping it, and they came up with this SAVE plan. It says here, the SAVE plan, which is available to student borrowers with a direct loan in good standing, will replace the existing revised pay-as-you-earn or repay plan, which is the most generous existing IDR plan for most borrowers. Borrowers who are already on the repay plan will be automatically enrolled in the SAVE plan and see their payments automatically adjust with no action on their part. While the department makes this transition, borrowers may see the names repay and SAVE used interchangeably. Borrowers can sign up for the SAVE/repay plan today by visiting studenta.gov/IDR. So basically, you can sign up for this new payment plan, and apparently, if you make less than $15 an hour, then you won't have to pay your student loan back, apparently. But if you do make more than that, you will save more than $1,000 a year on payments. And it also gives some other information about the actual interest as well. See if I can scroll down here so I can find that part. Yes, the department will stop charging any monthly interest not covered by the borrower's payment on the save plan. As a result, borrowers who pay what they owe on this plan will no longer see their plans grow due to unpaid interest. We estimate that 70% of borrowers who were on the IDR plan before payment pause would stand to benefit from this change. So basically, they're going to stop charging interest if you're in good standing, apparently. And this is major. I mean, people are going to get their debt forgiven with this new save plan, and I mean, it's getting major. But I guess the thing is for me, yes, debt is going to be forgiven, but what is this teaching the borrowers who borrow money? Well, some people may have gone into debt, go to school, get an education because they weren't able to afford it. Student loans have been an option for people to borrow money, right? To go to school to improve their lives, get more opportunities, get a better job, or create a business, or get a skill so they can make more income, right? Well, if people are having a debt forgiven, what are they teaching them about debt? Great question. Well, it may be training people to really rely on the government for change in their life, opposed to them actually changing their own lives. There's actually the program talking about if you work for 10 years, I believe. It's called the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, which is part of the debt forgiveness as well. It says that the PSLF, which is the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Plan Program, forgive the remaining balance on your direct loan, which I mentioned to you earlier, after you've made the equivalent of 120 qualifying monthly payments while working full-time for a qualifying employer. So if you're making 120 payments, if you're doing 12 payments in a year, once a month, right? And you work for a qualified employer, one that qualifies you to get this qualified for a forgiveness while working full-time there, you'll have your debt forgiven. But think about it. 12 times, one time is 12 months, right? Paying the money, payment every month for a year. Do that time 10 years, that's 120 payments. How likely are you going to stay on that job? Some people change jobs every 2 years. It depends on if they moving jobs or moving, say they might move to a different state, and an employee may not be there who is qualified employer. What do you do then? Do you always stay with that job? You may hate your job and you hate what you're doing. Do you stick it out 10 years to have your debt forgiven while paying maybe the minimum payment on your student loan so that you can qualify for this PSLF forgiveness? Or do you say, I want to work somewhere that I really love to do, make money doing it, and then pay my loan off quicker than 10 years, opposed to waiting, doing something I hate to do just to get student loan forgiveness? I'm not saying you're doing that, but that may be likely. Some people may be in a situation where they want to get that debt forgiven because they have accumulated a lot of student loan debt, but they don't have the income from their job to pay it off because they're married, they got a mortgage, they have car payments, they have children, they have daycare, they have all these expenses, and a student loan to repay. And the money they make in their job or jobs, because they may have multiple more jobs to pay the loans, pay the bills, may not be enough to cover that student loan. So they stick out the job that they may hate for 5 years, and then at that 5 year point, they say, am I going to continue to stay here another 5 years to get this debt repaid? And my life is being sucked out of me, right? Just so I can have that debt forgiveness. What do you do then? Do you stay in the job for the forgiveness? Or do you move on and get more income to pay off the debt? Well, it doesn't matter now because if you're within 160, one of those 160 people who is going to have that debt forgiven, then they're good, right? It doesn't matter. It, you're good. But if you aren't in that number, or if you haven't had your debt forgiven, are you still going to wait for the government to offer additional forgiveness, or are you going to do something different and work your plan or create a plan or find a plan to help you pay off your debt? That's the question I'm proposing for you today. When I went to school, I got aid, Pell Grants, but I also worked. I had a low income background, so I got grants, right? I didn't go into debt. Again, I got grants and I worked. I worked in high school, I worked in college. Each time I went to college to get my degree, I worked part-time and even full-time to get money to pay for things I needed while I was going to school and getting Pell Grants too, getting grants from the government for going to school to get an education. Some people may not be have been as fortunate as me. I guess as fortunate or misfortunate because being low income isn't fortunate. It's just what I was born into. But I use the lemons to make lemonade, though. Use that opportunity to get grants for education. But what if you didn't have that opportunity? What if you went into debt? What are you going to do? Are you going to continue to borrow money, even if you had the debt forgiven? Are you going to continue to use debt? Or are you going to use that as a lesson not to continue to borrow money? Ooh. Because what if you go accumulate more debt and you are waiting on the government to forgive that student loan debt? You'll go get debt for, say, a master's degree, or maybe a bachelor's degree, or maybe even a doctorate degree, maybe some kind of associate degree. Whatever, are you going to continue to use debt and then rely on the government to bail you out? Or are you going to go have a plan of action to work to save money to get the education, or you're going to get a loan and then pay it off yourself instead of relying on the government? Because had the government not had this program in place, millions of people would still be struggling. But the question I also want to ask is, when the people have their debt forgiven, what are they going to do with the extra money that they will have been paying on that student loan debt? That's the question I want to know. I'm curious to know, are people going to get better, learn from this situation by having their debt forgiven and say, all right, this is an opportunity for me to use that money to accumulate wealth, to save, to pay off any other debt I have. Because by them forgiving my debt, it teaches me, oh, I don't have a debt payment to pay to someone for 10, 20, 30 years of my life. I'm going to use that opportunity to save that money, to invest in a business, to start saving for my kids' college, to start saving for a house, start giving more, start handling money more efficiently and better for my financial future. So I want to bring this to you all because I think this is important for us to understand that, yes, the government is offering this forgiveness, but what are we doing with the forgiveness? What are we doing with the money we are going to now have additional income to pay for our bills, food, clothing, shelter? What are we going to do with that money that we've been given? Because it's been forgiven for those who are going to get their debt forgiven or have had their debt forgiven by the government. What do you do now? What next? What now? I want to encourage you, if you don't know what the next steps are, I encourage you to contact me today, Dakota Grady, to help you get on the plan with your money. Get a copy of my book, Broke, because America, we're still broke as a country, financially that is. We're borrowing more money, a lot of money, and we're still relying on debt. Even our country borrows money. So I want to help us to not rely on debt, to rely on something like money, cash, whether it's digital money or physical money. Because when you have money, which the government is forgiving you for student loan debt, you will be able to do more, do more things for you, your family, the community, and the world. So I want to challenge you. Do something different. DS did, as someone said. Amy Porterfield, that is. Do something different. And the different thing I want to challenge you is to stop borrowing money so that you won't be in a predicament where you have to wait for the government to offer a forgiveness for something that you went into, something that you decided to do intentionally or unintentionally, whether you didn't have an option that you wanted to partake in, such as working. You took a loan out, your parents took a loan out for you to go to school. Some people like borrowing money, some people don't like borrowing money, but the whole thing is borrowing money is a burden for you and your family. You know it. And I want to encourage you to stop borrowing money. Think about money differently, meaning use cash, and also think about debt differently. Stay away from it. If at all possible, stay away from debt. And if you have a debt, pay it off. Get a plan, pay it off, whether it be student loans, house, car, boat, motorcycle, whatever debt you have, credit cards, medical debt, pay it off and live a life of freedom that you deserve. So the website again is dakotagrady.com. I want to bring you all information about this. You can find out the source on CNBC and CNBCConnecticut.com as the source I'm using here today. And also I'm using the source from Department of Education as well. But find out more about it for yourself. But I want to tell you about the debt repayment that the government is going to implement for 160,000 Americans for $7.7 billion. And I hope this is alarming to you, but also inspirational for those who are going to get that debt forgiven, but also learn from the mistake of borrowing money. Contact me today at dakotagrady.com if you need help with personal finances, accounting, and taxes, and get the free resource for tax strategies for your business. Again, the website is dakotagrady.com. This is the Coins Cashflow Conversation Podcast.